I'm going to polish these bumpers up the best I can and get them on there just to try to get some of the stuff off the floor. In the meantime, I acquired the 2 missing rear bumper brackets. I blasted and then metal edge primered these other ones. Actually, I have another one of these coming. Here's some of the original shims that came with it. More issues on the bumper. This bolt's froze. That's easy. I can get in there with a little heat, get that out. But this guy here, this bolt's frozen. That nut is busted free. And it's like there's no way I can get it out the backside. So I gotta figure out something for this nut. This isn't looking good. I mean, it's almost like I have to cut this bracket to get that nut out of there. Like that nut was originally probably welded in there. I can see what happened with this on the body. There's this big washer in there. This side they got out, it's like a little dinky hole. This side I think got pulled right through the body. Paul's got me talked into doing a little patchwork back here. So I got some paint on order, we'll see how close it matches. And let's try to patch up all the cracks back here before putting that bumper on. Probably gonna end up wrecking the chrome, but these are like driver quality bumpers at best. I'm tempted just to blast that nut right off of there. I'm looking at this nut here. It looks like they cut through this with like a cutoff wheel or something. I'm gonna see if I can get that nut off of there because I'm gonna have to repair this bracket. I'm just gonna reuse the bracket. Alright, so I'll just have to do a little bit of grinding and welding there. I did get a rear bumper hardware kit because there was no hardware with the car. Well, I certainly don't see this bolt. This is like a 3/8 fine thread. I got that one. Looks like probably most everything I need is going to be there. I don't know. I'm hitting it with some chrome polish and a buffing wheel. We'll see what happens. There's a before. I'm going to do this on the plastic table in hopes not to scratch it up too much. We'll bring it after here in a minute. Here's a zoom. It's almost like there's overspray or something on it. I think a lot of this is going to clean off. Well, I buffed it as best I could. And it's all scratched up, but at least it's shiny, and this is going to be good enough for this rat ride. This shot here is featuring my new to me outdoor vise. It's handy having this deal outside when you're going to make a mess. Let's see if I can't chase these threads out a little bit here. Yeah, I keep thinking about the other bumper. I think I'm just going to have to cut that piece out of there and weld it back in. Oh yeah. Check this out. This bumper is basically ready to be installed as far as I'm concerned. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut this, try to bend this tab out just enough to get the nut out of there. I'm going to cut off this bolt. See if I can get the nut and cutoff out of there. I'll try to extract the cutoff from the nut, push it all back together, and then weld this back together. This factory style washer is in my way. I'm going to try the good old-fashioned Dremel tool, because I think I'll be able to get in there the best, one or the other. And probably put a piece of metal up here so I don't nick this chrome. But anyway, I'm going to cut the end of this bolt off with a regular angle grinder, so I can get this washer off here. I left as much as possible for leverage when I bend this up. I won't bore you with all this, but as the wheel gets smaller, I'll work towards the edge. And I might even come in this way so I don't cut into the outside edge. Alright, I got it to pop open. I got just enough where I get the nut and a little bit of stud out of there. I'm going to try to reuse this nut. This vise is going to suck the heat out of this nut quick style. It's only in by a couple threads. Here's that nut. I've cleaned up all 4 sides of it. Or 6 sides, I should say. So I'm going to chase this guy out before and after welding it. I think I have a sacrificial bolt somewhere I can stick in there while I weld it. Such a hack, but I got 3 sides of the nut welded. I'm going to grind this side down a little bit so there's no interference. I'm going to beat that back together and then weld her all up. Well, there it is, welded back up, polished the edge. No one's going to see it. Threads work fine. I can now mount this bumper. I'm going to get to a polish and then we'll see how she looks. Well, there it is. She's pitted and scratched, but she still shines. Good enough for me. So I basically deduced that he didn't get front bumpers with the car. All these brackets are brand new GM parts for the front. And it looks like new front bumpers. Maybe got them chromed, I don't know. I'll show you a couple other pieces I got with the car. Here's like the original trunk piece that came inside the car. I wonder how many guys have this. She's equipped with a limited slip differential and the jacking instructions. So I'm gonna put that in storage. You're never gonna see that again. Apparently this car also had a trailer hitch on it, right here. I wonder if this is like an aftermarket kit or something. You'll probably never see this again. Unless anybody wants to buy it. I believe this plate here was off this Corvette. 1976. So if that's the case, the car was on the road for like 10 years. Taken off, and then after the body off, maybe a couple more years. It's got a bracket on the back here. Those holes line up with this bumper cross brace. Before I put these rear bumpers on, I gotta do some patchwork. I mean, there's huge cracks in this. They probably pulled a bolt through here. Crackage. Big hole here where they pulled it through for sure. I'm not gonna go after every little crack back here, but I'm just gonna try to get the big ones and try to make it more rigid. Because once this fiberglass is sandwiched between the bumper mounts, I think it'll make the whole car a little bit more rigid. I'm gonna take this panel off so we get up in there a little easier. And before I do that, we'll take a quick look on the inside. I was looking at these goofy looking screws. They go to little pieces of metal like that. So this panel should come off fairly easy. A couple screws in the bottom. I may take this whole chrome out so I don't hit my head on it, I don't know. But let me get that panel off of there. These screws are coming out seemingly easy. Well, this piece is in pretty nice shape. When my good camera broke, I'm using a piece of crap $80 4K camera. And anyway, I got this all patched up. I just used matting and resin on the back and then like short hair fiberglass in the front to fill in the voids. And it worked out pretty good. It's rigid now. I'm liking it. I'm just waiting for my color match paint to come. I got all my brackets painted up here. I'm going to start fitting these brackets in the car. I actually used a Bridgeport for something. I marked the slots like this because I need some more spacers. And drilled a hole in each end and then used the end mill and made some nice oval plates.
These are just temporary though. I think I'm gonna come back and do this in aluminum. It's like, why put the weight back there? One of these will come for about 3 of these. I just want to get the bumper on, get the tank in. All right, I get this bracket in here. It's just touching this glass, so you can't push this in. So I think I'm going to fit this bumper before I start drilling holes on the other side. If it fits good there, I might try to mimic that hole on the other side. I don't know. I got to drill this front hole too. This one is just a through bolt to the fiberglass, so see how that goes.
Here's a camera I was using. That audio was basically unusable. I deleted most of the footage I took with this. Complete waste of money right here. I'm tempted to smash this camera with a hammer. Maybe I'll put it on a suicide mission. Here's the finished product. Unfortunately, you missed all my glass work due to camera issues. I got them to sit on there pretty evenly in the sand. Pretty happy with how it turned out. Paint match is interesting. I had 2 different cans of paint. Here they are. Saddle tan metallic. Neither one matched, but when I sprayed one on top of the other, I got a pretty close match. I mean, you can't even hardly tell. So I'm satisfied with this. Gonna move on. I have some valve train footage to edit and then get out. Got the javelin out too, so hopefully we'll have some footage on that coming up here. But that's all I got on the vet for right now, so we'll see you on the next one.